What's going on, guys? I am at Parcero Philly, uniting all through sports and culture. And today, guys, we have a really good show because today it is not about soccer. No, sir. Today, we're talking some NFL football. That's right, guys. As you guys know, I love Philadelphia. I love this city. And what many people forgot is my first love were the Eagles. I fell in love with the Eagles back in 2001 during Donovan McNabb, Andy Reid era, and it was a fun era for us kids who were growing up in the 2000s. And 4 years ago, this YouTube channel got started for that love of the Philadelphia Eagles, and this channel used to be a lot of Eagles content. I found my purpose and soccer became my new passion, but I never forget and I never stop loving the Philadelphia Eagles. And to me, guys, what is more important than anything is that we never forget that this city of Philadelphia is a 5 for 5 city. That's right. Eagles, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, and the Union, we are all one. So I will do everything I can to try to cover the other 4 main sports because I know how much my fellow Philadelphians love these teams. So let's get started, guys. Today we are previewing the Philadelphia Eagles 2019-2020 NFL season. Let's get it! Alright, guys, I may be a little rusty with NFL talk, but here's the thing. I grew up with this sport. I've been following this sport since 2001. It's like riding a bike. We're going to talk about this team in depth. Let's just start off by talking about what transpired last season. And as we all know, the Philadelphia Eagles were the reigning Super Bowl champions. They were the kings of the NFL. But of course, the story going into last season was the health of Carson Wentz. The year before, in 2017, the Super Bowl year, Carson was looking like the MVP of the NFL, and the Philadelphia Eagles were the best team in the regular season. All until he went down in LA, things changed. It was then the run of Nick Foles who took us all the way to the Super Bowl. Ever since that Super Bowl, there was the controversy. Foles versus Wentz. Who should be the starter? But Wentz would go into the season as a starter, and the Eagles were not the same team that we saw the previous season. Wentz looked off, the running game was off, the defense wasn't as dominant as before, but they were still in the middle of the pack. They would be 500 majority of last season and would end the season at 9-7, just sneaking in, giving us one of the most memorable last days of the season, maybe since 2008, but we had to beat Washington and hope for Chicago to lose, and both things happened. I will tell you guys, that was a very exciting day. And the playoffs last season were even more exciting. It seemed like we were going on another run. We had the double doink in Chicago, and then we ran into a tough New Orleans Saints team, and that is where our season ended, but it literally came down to the wire. Now, obviously, over the last 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, we have seen a team that has heart, that has had character, that has had a little bit of help. A lot of their talented players have gone down over the last 2 seasons, and other players had to step up. A lot of the credit for the play of this team has to go on Doug Peterson. He has been able to elevate the play of a lot of players, and his gutsy play call has definitely created trends in the NFL. Guys, enough of last season. Let's talk about this season because, guys, expectations are back for the Eagles to win another Lombardi trophy. And they are very right so deserving of those expectations because this roster, guys, is absolutely stacked. Let's start off with that offense. And let's start off with our play call, and that is Carson Wentz. He is back this year after dealing with injuries yet again last season. And last year, it was the back. And as you guys know, Carson Wentz is a guy who he needs his back to be healthy in order to drive the ball. He did not have that last season. The difference this year, though, is Carson doesn't have Nick Foles right behind. Knowing that Carson is a play away from Nick Foles coming back and taking over the team and being the hero that we all love here in Philly. For Christ's sakes, there's a goddamn statue of Nick Foles outside of Lincoln Financial. Carson Wentz definitely had to feel it, but their relationship was great. Now this is absolutely Carson's team. He has the extension. He has no backup quarterback breathing right behind him. This is legit his team. And the question is, can Carson finally stay healthy? That's the question with Carson Wentz because he has not been able to stay healthy in his 3 seasons in the NFL. If he is healthy, this team is the team to beat, not in the NFC, but in the NFL. To replace Nick Foles, guys, we brought in Josh McCown in training camp. Longtime veteran. Guys played for half of the NFL, and this is a legit backup quarterback if Carson Wentz, God forbid, goes down. Let's move on to the running backs, guys, because this was an area of need last season. We got decimated with injuries yet again. We lost LeGarrette Blount, and the running game suffered, which led to Carson Wentz's decline last season. These guys are going to be really important. We have to get back to that 2017 season where we had 3 to 4 different running backs contributing to the offense. We don't need a 100-yard rusher. We don't need a 1,000-yard rusher in the season either. We need these 4 running backs to do their job. And who are they? Jordan Howard, probably the top of the board right now for the running back. We acquired him in a trade during the offseason from the Chicago Bears. And what the hell were the Bears thinking? Because this guy not only was a fantasy stud, but just a stud in general. Can run between the tackles, can catch the ball pretty well, and is big on pass blocking, which we need from our running backs in this offense. We also did draft Miles Sanders from Penn State, and already he's looking like Saquon Barkley light. He is quick and he is versatile and also is great with his hands. He's still young, and I'm going to be so excited to see the progression he takes throughout the season, but definitely he's going to be a contributor this season. Third on that list, guys, is Corey Clement, who had a huge rookie season coming undrafted from Wisconsin, being a vital role in our offense in that 2017 season, and even had a big role in that Super Bowl. And last season, he suffered through injuries, did not play for most of the season. And this year, we don't know what we're going to get out of Corey. Corey missed last season. Is he going to come back to the same form that he had back in 2017? I, for one, being from South Jersey, also would love to see Corey to come back, have a big season. And last but not least, I'll leave the best for last, and that is the GOAT, Darren Sproles, who is coming back for another season. But let's not expect too much from Darren. He is getting up there in age, and he has been dealing with injuries over the last 2 seasons. But I still expect him to be a vital role in that locker room and also on special teams. All right, guys, we are on to the wide receivers, and this is another stacked unit as well. Doug Peterson did only keep 5 receivers for this roster so far. And we'll start off with Alshon Jeffrey, player on this team after the way our season ended last year. It all ended with his drop pass that got intercepted to end our season last year. And I expect Alshon this year to come with guns blazing. He's going to have a big year as well. And the whole Carson doesn't like throwing to Alshon thing, I don't want to hear. Alshon is a vital target for us. Expect Carson to keep throwing it to him. I'm going to be excited to see Alshon. The receiver that everyone is talking about on this roster is Deshaun Jackson is back. D-Jax is back, and he's a little older, a little bit more mature, which is awesome because we love the way he play on the field. His off-the-field antics was something we did not miss out on. Veteran leadership, the ability to stretch the field, to open up the short game. I'm so excited to see what Deshaun can do for us this season. And right behind Deshaun is going to be Nelson Aguilar, who's in pretty much a contract year here. He's going to want to get paid, and he's going to ball out. His progression year in and year out has been extremely refreshing to see, and I expect Nelson to take another step forward. Matt Collins is a question mark. This is a guy who 2017 showed you a little something, got hurt, and has been pretty much disappeared for last season. So we'll see what Matt Collins can do, but he did make the roster, so we'll see what happens. The player that we should be looking out for is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who is the rookie wide receiver who we drafted in the second round out of Stanford. And again, he's got speed, body size, and he's pretty good at catching the ball. So he's a little young, but he is probably going to be real exciting. All right, guys, on to the tight ends, because this is probably the best tight end unit in the NFL. We have Zach Ertz, who we all know broke the single season catching record for a tight end last season. And we have Dallas Goedert, the young incumbent, and he showed you some signs last season that he's going to be pretty damn dangerous. These two, with those receivers and our running backs, this offense is going to be deadly. But it is all going to come down to the most important part of the offense, and that is the offensive line. My sexy ass offensive line. And it all starts with Jason Kelce right at the center, guys. And we're probably going to have this same offensive line that we did last season with Brandon Book and Isaac Seumalo, Lane Johnson, and Jason Peters. Back again, Jason Peters as the tackles. And there's actual depth on this offensive line this year. We have Andre Dillard, who is the rookie tackle from Washington State. He had shown you some good stuff in preseason, as well as Big V and Matt Pryor. Like I said, when healthy, this is the best offensive line in the NFL, and we're going to go where this offensive line takes us. But man, This offense is going to be so dangerous, all healthy, and I'm going to be so excited to see them torching the NFL. All right, guys, now let's move on to the defensive side, because in the 2017 season when we won the Super Bowl, we all know how dominant the defense was and also how much they were creating turnovers for the team. Last year, they took a little bit of the dip as they fell down to the 23rd ranked defense in the NFL. But this year, guys, obviously the main issue last year was dealing with injuries. Guys were dropping like flies, especially on the defensive side of the ball. This year, I feel like they fixed the depth issues, and this defense is pretty damn stacked, guys. Let's start off with the defensive line. It all starts with our captain, Fletcher Cox, on that defensive side of the ball. He, again, expect him to have another dominant season, and having Timmy Jernigan with him all season long is going to be huge for him. Those two in the middle, it's very scary for a lot of teams. We also did bring in Malik Jackson, who could play tackle and defensive end. Love the versatility there. He was part of that Jacksonville defense we saw the past couple of years with Jacksonville, and I expect him to continue his production here with the Eagles. Now, obviously, we lost Chris Long to retirement, which was a huge blow for us. His veteran leadership, his sack ability is something we're going to miss dearly. But my guy to keep an eye on, guys, is Derek Barnett. He had a good, solid rookie season. We saw some progression, went down last year on IR, so he missed the season. This year, he's a little bit of a wild card. We don't know exactly what we're going to see from Derek Barnett, but I have high hopes for him. I think he's going to be good. He's going to continue his progression that we saw from that rookie season, and he is going to be the X factor right now. We did also bring back Vinny Curry, which should be great for run stopping. Obviously, loves playing for Philadelphia. Brandon Graham is back again after signing a contract extension this offseason. The expectation was he was going to leave, but luckily we were able to keep Brandon Graham. But if we start losing players on the defensive line again, there are some guys who I think that can fill that role who are hungry right now. We do have guys like Sharif Miller, Deshaun Hall, Josh Sweat, and at defensive tackle we got Hassan Ridgeway. So we know how the Philadelphia Eagles like to run. It all starts up top with the lines, both offensive, defensive line, and this defensive line is going to be stacked. And again, we're going to go as far as this defensive line takes us. I expect sacks next season for the Birds. All right, guys, at the linebacker position, we know how much Jim Schwartz does not really care for this position. We will continue probably sticking with nickel formations, using only 2 linebackers, and we do bring back Nigel Bradham, who is finally healthy after playing really hurt last season. And to replace that Michael Kendrick / Jordan Hicks position, we brought in Zach Brown from the Washington Redskins on a 1-year deal. Very underrated linebacker. I feel very comfortable with having Zach Brown and Nigel Bradham as our 2 linebackers. Now let's move on to the secondary, guys, because this was the area of the field that we got hurt the most with injuries. All of our secondary players got hurt except for Malcolm Jenkins, of course. But this year, they all come back, and this secondary looks really good on paper right now. So you got Malcolm Jenkins back. Rodney McLeod is healthy again. The expectation is those 2 will be your safeties again this season. Ronald Darby is back again, and he's in a contract year, so expect Darby to ball out this season. Now, Jalen Mills is still hurt. He's on the PUP list, so we will see what happens, but I'm not feeling too confident about Jalen Mills. It didn't look good before he went down last season. He is just too much in his head. He just talks way too much. I just want to see Jalen Mills come back and just play some damn football. Now, we also do have Avonte Maddox, who was a rookie out of Pitt last season and really stepped up big for us and played safety, cornerback, anything Jim Schwartz needed from him, he was doing for us. I expect him to have another huge role, and I don't know how many snaps he will get, but he's going to get his fair share after what he showed us last season. Sidney Jones, a player that seemed like was going to be a bust, this training camp and this summer, he showed us a little something. He looked good in practice. Hopefully he gets some snaps this season, because this is a guy we drafted in our 2nd round and was supposed to be a top 10 pick, but due to injury fell all the way to the 2nd. So I'm excited to see what we have in Sidney Jones. And then we also have Russell Douglas. We also have Andrew Sandejo, who we got from the Minnesota Vikings in free agency. Last year, Cravon LeBlanc was a huge story. Pretty much was a 6th round pick for the Jets, got traded here to Philadelphia, and came up big in the playoffs. Unfortunately, he got put on IR this training camp, so he will be out for the season, but it was a huge showing by him last year. All right, guys, so we all know how stacked this Philadelphia Eagles team is. This is a very good team. And when healthy, this is probably the best team in the NFL. But obviously last year, we saw them dealing with the transition of being the top gun. When we won the Super Bowl back in 2017, you guys remember the dog mess, the underdog mentality. And that to me was the single sole reason why we went on the run that we went on. I want to see the Eagles get back to that. Get back to that underdog mentality. No one likes them. They shouldn't care. They're all they got and they're all they need. All that needs to be shown this season. We need to see that character again from the Philadelphia Eagles like we saw in the playoffs both seasons. It's honestly all going to come down to Carson Wentz. He seems to be like a different quarterback this season. He's definitely learned a thing or two from Nick Foles. Instead of treating it like a competition, he saw it as a learning experience. This season really does come down to Carson Wentz, but honestly, guys, I see this Philadelphia Eagles team not only winning the NFC East, but I see us going back to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't want to speculate. I don't know what's going to happen in that Super Bowl, but I really like our chances this year of bringing the Lombardi Trophy back home. All right, guys, that is my predictions, my preview of the Philadelphia Eagles season. I'm going to try to do not a lot, but some Philly sports stuff because I do really love it, and we are a 5-for-5 city, guys. Guys, if you liked what you see and you want to see more, please help this channel grow. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button for notifications, and share this video. We are almost at 100 subscribers, guys, and I could use your guys' help to get to that goal. And until next time, go Birds!